Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelley and I have created this video to share 3 ways that helped me to get out of freeze state. When I was in the midst of having a severe stomach infection, I was chronically stressed. I had my cortisol levels tested and they were consistently high across a number of months. And that was down to the fact that I had a stomach infection. At first, I didn't know what it was. I was diagnosed with a whole load of different things. And I just thought that I was really stressed, really traumatized, and I didn't actually know why. And then I found out what was actually wrong with me. I had that treated and then I had the recovery. It was a really lengthy and difficult healing process. But during the healing process, I actually found that I had started to become quite numb to some of the stress and some of the sensations in my body. I've become disconnected from my emotions, and looking into it, I think it was probably my nervous system was on a bit of a shutdown. During the time that I wasn't very well, I actually trained in a whole load of modalities, including vagus nerve healing. And there was a few things in there that kind of made me think, actually, that actually sounds like me. And I think I'm onto the right thing. But I didn't actually know at the point of doing that training what was actually making me feel so stressed. Although I'm not medically trained, I have trained to some extent in different modalities, including the vagus nerve, and I have helped my own nervous system to a point where I feel like my stress levels have come right down to much more easier way of dealing with life. I don't seem to be reacting. I feel much more calm in situations. So a small introduction, if you are new here, then welcome. As I say, my name is Shelley and I created this page off the back of not being very well. I called it Wellness with Shelley. It was just something really, really simple where I wanted to actually share some of the things that I've learned during my healing process, during the time that I wasn't very well. I wanted to share some things that I picked up in my training, which actually I've used for myself, which have actually really benefited me. I suffered quite a lot, and I would hate to think that anybody else suffered exactly the same way. It is really important for me to share that this is my experience. I'm not diagnosing or giving medical advice. I'm simply just sharing some of the things that I've picked up along the way, just some little golden nuggets that might help. It might make somebody think, actually, that sounds like me. And in some of my other videos, I have had people message to say, that's exactly how I felt. So I'm really hoping that this might help in a little way, at least. So without going into the science behind stress, I felt like out of the fight, flight or freeze responses, I was very much stuck in between freeze and flight. I would go really, really numb in certain situations, and I noticed that I was shutting down and I was freezing. And if I felt like my stress levels were increasing, I felt like I was just becoming numb in those situations. One of the modalities that I started to do was meditation. And sometimes whilst doing the deep breathing exercises, I actually felt like they were a little bit triggering for anxiety, and I didn't understand why. I can do meditation now because I'm not stuck in the freeze state. So I needed to find things that would help me. And one of those things, so the first thing is that I would hum. It sounds really simple, and it is. And actually on the journey of learning how to exercise the vagus nerve, how to stimulate it, the vagus nerve is attached to the brain and also goes down into some of your organs. So that's why you get butterflies in your tummy. That's the nervous system activated. I found that humming really helped. It sounds really simple. And actually on the journey of healing my nervous system, I found that a lot of the exercises that I was practicing were really simple. And it wasn't like I needed to do, really big things that cost money, and I think that I needed to do, that took a lot of time. I could do these things whilst I was getting on with my day. I just tried to remember to fit them in, or even if I felt like I was going into a freeze state, then I would start practicing. I would hum first thing in the morning while I was brushing my teeth, whilst I was working, while I was in the car listening to the radio. I would play music on my phone whilst I was doing chores and I would just hum along. Just the sensation of humming was helping to exercise the vagus nerve, and I actually found that quite beneficial. So that's the first thing that I did. The second thing that I did was I started to try and make myself more aware of the sensation of my feet flat on the floor. So if I'd got bare feet, what was the sensation of the material under my feet? Was it a cold floor? Was it grass? Was it carpet? Was it my shoes? Was it my socks? And even sitting on the sofa when I'm watching the TV, I will just try and notice the sensation of whatever material is touching my toes, and basically trying to, almost like how a child would be soothed, I was doing things that were soothing. So I would try and get cozy and just feeling or noticing the underside of my feet. It sounds like really simple and really basic, but actually that really helps me. And sometimes I will just kind of do the sensation of just kind of like gently pushing my feet backwards and forwards, and that's actually a really lovely sensation. And that is the second thing that I do, and I actually try and do that whilst I'm doing really easy activities like watching TV, working, and just generally when I'm walking around, just trying to feel the sensation of the bottom of my feet. And that would just help bring connection back and bring me back into my body. And I think being stuck in freeze state, I felt like sometimes I felt quite disconnected. So that really helped with bringing that connection back with the sensations of feeling that under my feet, and it was connecting my brain to my body. And the third thing that I did was, because breathing and sitting in silence and being still sometimes really triggered me, especially when I had my stomach infection, because I was really noticing sensations in my body that were pretty scary, I would actually incorporate more movement into my day. So I would rock, walk, just getting that movement really helped to get that nervous energy going through my body and enabled me to move it up and out rather than holding on to it and keeping sensation internalized. So as a starting point, really, really simple, noticing that I was feeling really numb and shut down, just these small little things to help myself to come out of that freeze state. So the first thing is that I would hum, and the second thing was to notice sensations in the bottom of my feet, and the third thing was movement, just gentle movement, nothing too crazy. And just those three things are a really good basic starting point, helped me to come out of the freeze state. Let me know in the comments if this has helped or resonated in any way. As I say, this channel is not intending on replacing therapy or help from a medical professional. But if I've experienced something and I've managed to help myself and I've got some training, some basic training under my belt, I thought I would just share some of these nuggets just to help people. So please do let me know if that has helped in any way. And I will be sharing more videos soon. I have meditation coming up. I have more work on nervous system regulation. I have mindfulness, calm, relaxation, tips and things that I've picked up in my trainings that I think might help others. It's important to know, if you are struggling, if you're finding things difficult, then please do reach out to a medical professional or a trusted person for help. I really hope this has helped in some way. If it has, then please do let me know in the comments below, and I will be back with another video very soon. Thank you so much for watching.